Hearing is called to order. I've got to get used to that. The Southampton Town Planning Board, Thursday, February 14, 2019. The Secretary will call the roll.
Chairman Finnerty.
Present.
Vice Chair Blaney.
Present.
Secretary is here. Board Member LaFaro.
Present.
Board Member Zuccarelli.
Present.
Board Member Long.
Present.
Board Member Burke.
Present.
We have a full board, sir. We're ready to go.
Could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just advise, if you wish to address the board, please use the podium, state your name for the record, print your name on a sign-in sheet. It's important for our sensitive recording equipment. And if you're representing any civic group or an adjoining neighbor or so forth. Also, in the event of an emergency, exit this room utilizing either of the two rear doors, proceed to the main floor, and exit the building using the front or the side rear door. The first hearing is Bridgehampton Associates. Do we have notice, Council?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Bill,
Yeah, sure.
start us off.
You bet. Notice of public hearing. Please take notice that in accordance with the Town Code of the Town of Southampton, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, February 14th, 2019 at 6 p.m. prevailing time at the Southampton Town Hall at 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, New York, to consider the site plan application entitled Bridgehampton Associates, Inc. The site plan application proposes to expand the existing pavilion with construction of a 1,500 square foot covered terrace along the southern portion of the building, construction of a rooftop ocean view deck, and a 250 square foot expansion on the northern portion of the building for storage and staff break room, which will add to the existing 3,578 square foot clubhouse facility on a 12.7 acre, 554,358 square foot property located within the New York State archaeologically sensitive areas and partially within the New York State DEC coastal erosion hazard area located at 43 Mid-Ocean Drive, Suffolk County Tax Map number 9001344 17.1 by order of the Planning Board of the Town of Southampton, Philip Keith, Secretary.
Very good. Mr. Cook?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, happy Valentine's Day. Caught me by surprise. I'm used to waiting 2 hours before I get to get up here. Well, you described it very well. This is a request for an application for an expansion of the existing open-air beach pavilion at the Bridgehampton Club at the end of Ocean Road. There's been slight dimensional changes from what you just read. We submitted an updated survey and narratives. We're still at 1,500 square feet on the southern portion of the building, but some other requirements that we had to maneuver for the membership were up to 400 square feet on the northern end of the building, most landward end of the building, instead of 250 square feet. So there's been a slight increase in that. We're still at about 1% of lot coverage. Excuse me, of lot coverage. We proposed some revegetation areas at the toe of the dune. As you know, we're removing some asphalt parking areas and pulling them landward and requesting more landscape. We're actually requesting lawn because that's what the membership would use there for kids to play. But we are indicating a couple thousand square feet of revegetation area at the base of the dune on both the east and west sides of the boardwalk to the beach. It is 1,500 square feet of new open-air pavilion on the southern end, 400 square feet of enclosed storage area on the north end, and an 800 square foot rooftop deck. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer anything specific.
You know what the capacity is on the rooftop deck?
Sorry?
You know what the capacity is?
I think it's 50 people.
50 people.
Yeah, we've met with the fire marshal and have gone through occupancies with them. We're at 299 on the base of the building, 50 up.
Jackie, did you get the changes?
We did just receive them yesterday.
And we've gotten the engineering notes. All those requests are in the works already. And we are in the process of working with an engineer on a denitrification septic system. So we have 2 proposals on the board right now, but we do plan to use an IA system here to replace a current, I think it's a concrete block, single septic tank right now.
Good. Further questions?
We've seen a lot of this before.
Yeah.
So,
Very good. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on the matter of Bridgehampton Associates? Yes, please use the podium.
So, my name's Gareth Turner.
Please sign your name on
Sure.
this, please. Thank you.
So, my name is Gareth Turner. I'm a resident of 70 Mid-Ocean, which is directly across the street from the club. My neighbor, Tom Moreno, who lives at 58 Mid-Ocean Drive, was trying to be here as well, but he got caught in traffic today. I actually received this notice in the mail, which I appreciated receiving, but we've had no really advance notice of this proposed application and development. So, and we requested the plans in the mail. We just got them today. It came in the mail before I left the city, so I haven't had a chance to review them. But I feel, I'm not sure of the normal process of this, but I was quite surprised and concerned about the short notice. I was literally in London, England this morning and flew back specifically from London to New York. Drove out here today specifically to have my concerns and comments read, but you know, I don't know what the proper protocol and procedure is, but for a development of this significance to the local community, I feel the notice was, and certainly the local consultation was far below what I would have expected from the town, and certainly from our neighbor. We've not heard anything about this proposed development, which will severely impact our street and our community. And I speak for Mr. Marino myself, and we're very disappointed by the lack of consultation that's gone into that. Having said that, I did make my way here literally from London, England this morning to raise my objections. And I'm speaking for Mr. Marino, who would like his opportunity to be heard if there's a subsequent hearing, or if there's a way for him to provide his written opposition as well. He would be open to that. I think in summary, I'm completely opposed to this expansion of the club's facilities and believe it is unnecessary and a significant risk to the safety and well-being of local residents on the street, particularly those residents situated across from the club on the easternmost part of Mid-Ocean Drive. I feel so strongly about these issues. I mentioned before I came back specifically from London, England, and was on a business trip to attend this meeting to register my strong objection and stop this development work. Just so the board is aware, the residents of Mid-Ocean Drive have had no advance consultation or notice this application from the club apart from this public hearing. While I understand that the members of this club are probably quite influential and probably have very significant ties to the town of Southampton, perhaps are known very personally to many members of the board, that doesn't mean they should have free license to disrupt our local community, where I note many of them do not live, and build excessive space and facilities which will serve their interests at the expense of the local residents. I strongly urge the board to consider the application in front of them and the issues it will create, and implore you to categorically reject the proposed application. I have 3 principal issues with this application. 1, the proposed expansion is completely unnecessary, as the existing facilities serve the club and its needs perfectly well. 2, it will add significant noise and disruption to a street that is a very quiet, family-oriented community. 3, and perhaps of most importance to the town, it poses an extreme and unacceptable risk to the safety of people on the street, their kids, and their pets. Let's deal with each one of these issues in turn. Firstly, with respect to the expansion, which I think is completely unnecessary. Firstly, the proposed expansion is out of character with the local setting. The existing building and footprint is perfectly suitable for the club's needs. The club has functioned perfectly well for many years with the existing infrastructure. The club has numerous events and parties for its members throughout the summer. We know because we hear and see them, and the people are clearly enjoying themselves and have full reign of the area. We've seen many huge events with entertainment tents and cookout facilities. If the club wanted to update and modernize its existing facilities, that's one thing. But to add to the footprint at such significant scale and expand the space by almost 50% is completely unnecessary and out of character with the more modest houses that surround it. Secondly, with respect to noise and disruption, we already have to contend with a lot of noise from the club. The club has many outdoor parties with music and entertainment. We have to close our windows when these events are going on and shut ourselves in when some of these events are going on. It's barely tolerable as it is, but adding 50% more space, which is obviously purpose-built for more parties, more outdoors entertainment, roof deck parties, and is totally unacceptable. These members drive in their large SUVs, have their parties, and drive out, interrupting our evenings, our quiet evenings, and our time with our families. They have no interest in maintaining the quality of life of the local residents. When you just think about how intrusive more parties and entertainment will be, and the noise and traffic it will create, it would completely be unacceptable to you all if you were subject to this kind of interference. This is completely unacceptable to me as a local resident. We purchased our property on mid-ocean because it's a quiet, beachy, bohemian type feel. The proposed development will more significantly disrupt and interfere with the quality of life which we enjoy on the road. And third, with respect to safety issues, I think the board has to consider this issue particularly carefully, because it'll be very troubling if someone were to get injured or worse as a result of the increased traffic this development will bring. As it is, the club members treat Mid-Ocean Drive as part of their private driveway to the club. In many cases, there is complete disregard for local driving ordinances. When turning onto Mid-Ocean from Ocean Road, heading southbound on Ocean Road, making a right onto Mid-Ocean Drive, cars that are going to the club will take the corner at high speed and literally cut across Mid-Ocean Drive on a 45-degree angle to get access to the club's driveway. If you've ever been down that area, it's a very short space between Ocean Road and the club's driveway, and people cut across the center line, assuming that that's almost their private right-of-way. And conversely, when they exit the club's property, these large SUVs frequently never come to a full stop and simply turn right onto Mid-Ocean Drive from the club's driveway. This happens during the day when children are walking to and from the beach, and it's a really dangerous situation. When you consider that people are checking their phones when they first get into the car, which we've seen many times, and they've had alcohol, which will presumably be consumed as part of enhanced social activities at the club, it's a really toxic and very dangerous mix. It's particularly bad at night because the drivers assume if they don't see a headlight from the approaching eastbound traffic on Mid-Ocean Drive, that they are free to make a right-hand turn out of their driveway onto Mid-Ocean Drive without stopping. We've seen rolling stops, we've seen literally no stops, and it's a complete disregard for the safety of the local residents. As there is no street lighting, which we certainly don't want, and no illumination, it increases the risk. My wife and I walk our dogs at night in this direction, have experienced this firsthand. To avoid any accident, and from these cars turning off their private driveway onto Mid-Ocean Drive, we literally now cross the street, walk on the opposite side of the street to avoid a car pulling out of the driveway onto Mid-Ocean Drive without stopping. My children and friends walk to the beach at night to hang out, and I literally warn my children every time they leave to be careful when passing by the club, because all it takes is one car, one careless driver to cause an accident. The board cannot possibly be aware of the seriousness of the issue for the residents of the houses on the easternmost part of Mid-Ocean Drive who are most directly affected by the significant vehicular traffic at the club. I'm very worried that the additional traffic and partying that will accompany the expansion of the club's facilities will cause an accident or even a fatality from a careless driver either driving to or leaving the club after a party. This is an equal risk for both daytime and nighttime events. In summary, this proposed application, as I understand it, is a serious concern for local residents which cannot be underestimated. We all have to live together in this community, so one party's interest cannot be favored at the expense of the other party's well-being and safety. There's a complete imbalance of interest here. The club members drive in and drive out, but don't live on the street, and can't appreciate the impact the development will have on our quality of life and on the community more broadly. The club will continue to exist, trust me, if you deny the application. But if you permit it, our experience and quality of life on a very family-oriented, friendly, low-key, quiet street will forever be altered. And you will never be able to regulate it. Without local resident support for this application, it is my personal view, the council is duty-bound to reject the application. I'd be pleased to submit my comments here for the record if you're so inclined.
Please. Please do. To the recording secretary, if you could.
Okay. Can I ask a couple questions as well?
Yes, of course, sure.
Will this proposed development be just for the club's use, or will there be available to rent it to third parties?
I believe it's just for Mr. Cook can
You
speak
can
to that
respond to
afterwards,
that.
but,
Yeah, you have to find everything at once.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get the questions out on the table and then we'll get a response.
Are
I
there
believe it's-
any variances being requested?
No, this is as of right.
Okay. Anyway, so I'll give you my comments. Those are my additional questions.
Okay. Mr. Cook, could you please,
Well, as regards to the notice, and this board knows that we have been before a public hearing before, we have posted and mailed and noticed Mr. Garrett and everybody, all the neighbors equally as we did this time, so we have done all the notices required. This is the second series of notices we've put out. With regards to the events, the club, I think, does events, it does weddings, it does 2 or 3 weddings this summer. That probably will not change. This expansion, I don't know how he knows whether it's necessary or not. The membership has decided it is necessary because the membership has grown and the current club, which is over 30 years old, is run down and inadequate. The club has been there for over 100 years, long before anyone else has been on Mid-Ocean Drive. It's not a surprise that the club has been there. It's always been there. If I were to characterize the membership in the club, I would say it is family-oriented, quiet, and low-key. Very low-key. His experiences are a great surprise to me. It's important to note that the expansion of this facility, this 1,500 additional square feet, will not change the membership. There will be no increase in membership because of the club. No activity on that site will change, with the exception of 3 or 4 times a year. There will not be a company coming in to set up big tents for events. This will take the place of that. So if anything, it'll probably reduce traffic there. I can't address the traffic issues. I haven't seen that. We all know Mid-Ocean Drive has lots of homes, and it has another larger club at the end of the street too. So who those people are, I couldn't tell you. But I think our membership is very conservative, they care about the club, the area. As I said, it's a club that covers 1% of a 550,000 square foot lot. They're not looking for anything indoor. They're not looking for any enclosed spaces to hold events. They're asking to enlarge a pre-existing, non-conforming, I guess, because of location, but pre-existing open-air roofed pavilion.
Has there been any consideration, Mr. Cook, for signage on the way out onto Mid-Ocean, for example, slow, active road, some kind of safety signage that might help with the
It hasn't been discussed, but
You might want to think about
can't
it.
even, I'm trying to picture myself, and I don't even think might not even be a stop sign at the end of the driveway, but again, characterizing the membership's cars as large SUVs, I think is also, if you went there in the summer, you'd see that does not characterize this membership. It's an older, very conservative group of people. And again, it is very family-oriented. It's full of kids.
Is
So.
the property owned by a members association?
There are 2 different groups that own the property, and it's not owned by the members. I'm not sure how it's divided, but the golf club up on Sagaponic Road and Ocean Road is held by a different entity, but it's all under the umbrella of the club.
Mr. Cook, I'm noticing on here that there are, it looks like 2 speed bumps already on Mid-Ocean.
Oh, I don't know, but they'd be past our driveway, so we wouldn't see them.
Yeah, they're on the map.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just curious if there had been a problem with traffic on here, that there was speed bumps put in, or,
It would be traffic that would not have involved
know
our
anything
club,
about those.
because it's past our club.
yeah, I didn't know if you knew
No,
the history
didn't.
of those.
And Mr. Cook, in reference to the question of the facility being rented out to non-members, is that possible?
Yeah, as I said initially, the club currently does 2, 3, or 4 weddings a year there.
Ah.
I think it's 2 or 3 weddings a year there, but they bring, one of the reasons they want this roofed facility is to not only accommodate the club's gatherings, the 2 or 3 that they have this summer, but also to be able to not have to have tents come onto the property and be built. So they have a guaranteed roofed environment for these events.
Do they need to have a permit for that?
For the events? I don't know. I couldn't tell you for sure, probably. I know for the tents they did.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Cook.
Sure.
You could extend the written comment period
Yeah,
on this?
I think so,
Typically we do
because
10 days,
someone's
we
away.
can extend it out to 30 days.
Yeah, and
Oh,
you
is
can
there
get the
anyone
other
else who
letters
wishes to speak?
submitted.
So we're going to extend the written comment period out for 30 days
30 days.
instead of the 10-day window. Email or regular mail. I don't have the email.
To the client.
You can see the recording secretary should write out the email. That's better because it's easier to disseminate the board. But it's going to be 30 days instead of 10 written. And thank you for your attendance.
Yes, that's big effort.
Okay. We have a motion to close at 30 by Jackie.
Second.
Second by Phil. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? We have 7 yes. Pass to the right. The second item is, Mr. Zuccarelli, are you up for reading, or?
Which one?
It would be Cephas and Rambout.
Cephas?
You don't have to read if you don't want to. You can read?
Give them a short.
Okay. We don't know the length, so.
Okay, all right. Notice of public hearing. Please take notice that in accordance with the Town Code of the Town of Southampton, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, February 14th, 2019, at 6 p.m., prevailing time at the Southampton Hall at 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, to consider covenant amendment application entitled Cypress and Ramba, Lot 1. The application has requested an amendment to covenants and restrictions for Lot 1 known as Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-48-1-17.9, associated with the subdivision of Cypress and Ramba, to allow conveyance of Lot 1 prior to any driveway improvements are made. The lot is located at 157 Little Noyak Path within the hamlet of Watermill. By order of the Planning Board of the Town of Southampton, Philip Keith, Secretary.
Okay, good.
Mr. Bennett, you have the floor.
Thank you. Pretty simple. There is a covenant on lot number 1 that requires, well, on both lots, that requires the installation of certain drainage structures prior to the conveyance or prior to the construction on lot number 1. And there's also a covenant, I'm sorry, that was in the declaration. The declaration, as well as a common driveway agreement, require that this private driveway, which is currently on the property of one of the owners of these 2 lots, to be shifted into the flagpole portion. We are in negotiations and about to sign a contract to convey this property to an adjacent owner who would, as my clients have, since this was filed, just to keep this open, although I can't represent to you that it would be in perpetuity, but for now that is the plan. So what we'd like to do is to remove the condition from both the declaration and the common driveway agreement that requires that these things happen on conveyance, because we just want to leave the property the way it is. But of course, keep in there the trigger that says, once this is built upon, it has to be, this has to be moved, and the drainage structures have to be put into place. I think that's, if there had been appropriate forethought about it in the past, that's probably the way that the covenant would have been worded, and I doubt the board would have had a concern with that, because really what you're trying to do is to make sure when this is built on, those improvements are put in, as opposed to the mere conveyance without any construction. There is in the declaration a covenant that says that there has to be a fire well placed in this location prior to any conveyance. And I did say quite candidly, I said to the clients, if you're going to ask the planning board to remove the trigger of mere conveyance on this lot as opposed to construction, I think you should offer to put the firewall in now from a fire protection point of view, and they understood that. So what we're asking to do is simply to remove the conditions in, the trigger in both the declaration and the common driveway agreement that triggers upon mere conveyance, and just leave in those documents the trigger for the drainage and the removal, and the moving of the driveway when something is going to be built on this. Again, the hope is that the adjacent owner who's buying it has said that he wants to keep it open, but you know, I can't. Those things change, obviously. So I'm not about to sit here and say to you that this is going to be forever open, because you know, people change. But I think it's a fair thing to do. The real concern that you have is, I think that those things go in prior to the construction here.
Would you be able to secure a letter from the contract vendee acknowledging these changes? Because he's not really a party to this, he would just...
Well, once I would represent that we would put them on prior to any, well, he would be, he would be, the document's still in the county clerk's office. It's
Right,
recorded.
his counsel would look, or his title would say, oh, this is all going to be done, this was approved.
Well, I will represent to you that that we would put it, that the amendment would go in prior to any conveyance to that party. Or however you want. I can get a letter from, if it's easier to get a letter from the lawyer, sure, yeah, that's, of
Yeah,
course.
just to acknowledge that these changes are being...
So somebody can't come back and say,
Hey, you guys approved this, and I bought this, and I thought this was all going in now, and...
although usually it wouldn't be something he'd be complaining about, because it's more, you're being more lenient. But I'll get it anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, it's just the intent of those covenants, they started about 15 years ago, was people...
Oh, to have, when Jim was on the board, he said he wanted the subdivider to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. As opposed to leave it when somebody wakes up and says, oh, we're
Right.
putting in this common driveway, but...
How do I get these
Right.
improvements back?
That's true. Very good, yeah. I will do that.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Further questions for the applicant? Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard?
I'm sorry, just one quick one. And there's no current contemplation of any construction on any,
There's no current contemplation of construction.
One is approved.
Well, these are both, well, there's a house here, I'm sorry, yeah. But there's no current contemplation of construction. We're going to convey this vacant. But I'm not going to stand up here and say, you know, because people, you know what happened, people say, it's like the old, how many times have you been before a zoning board or a conservation board? I'm not saying that's happening, but people will say, this is going to be my dream vacation home, and a month later, you see it in the newspaper, advertised for sale. So I don't, you know, I'm not going to be, I don't want to make any representations about the ultimate use, but for now, that's the intention.
Very good.
Okay.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on the application, Stepus and Rambo? Here, no public comment, a 10-day written comment period. Do we have a motion?
motion.
Motion by Gloria, second by Phil. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? 7 yes. I'm sorry, 6 yes, 1 recusal. Oh. Jackie recusal. Thank you. Gloria, you up for reading?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to move to item 91. I'm sorry, 91 Priscilla Avenue, item 3. Do we have notice, council?
Yes, Jim, yes.
Very good. Lorraine, you are free to read as soon as you get the notice.
As soon as I get something to read.
Well, coming at you.
Sorry, I didn't.
It's coming
Oh,
at you.
that's, I'm just. Notice of public hearing. Please take notice that in accordance with the town code of the town of Southampton, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, February 14th, 2019, at 6 p.m. prevailing time at the Southampton Town Hall at 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, New York, to consider the application entitled 91 Priscilla Avenue. The application is for a two-lot subdivision of a 19.026 square foot vacant parcel situated in the R15 zoning district and New York State archaeological sensitive area, located at 91 Priscilla Avenue in Flanders, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-143-1-18, by order of the Planning Board of the Town of Southampton. Philip Keith, Secretary.
Very good. Is there anyone representing 91 Priscilla Avenue?
Yes, good evening.
Great, welcome.
Robert Merrick, 250 North Sea Road, Southampton, New York, for the applicant. So, if you've ever been in this neighborhood in Flanders, which was originally filed for the subdivision in 1938, the lots were, and still are, very thin and generally deeper. And so this lot, many people would buy these houses, these lots, and they would plop a house right in the middle of two of the lots. And so this house at 91 burned down about 12 years ago, I think it was, and it was in foreclosure, and it sat there in the middle of the neighborhood as a terrible eyesore, and people would break into it and do drugs and other illicit activities. And so my client bought it and put in a demolition permit. It was raised and the land was restored. We'd like to subdivide it in the same line as it had existed previously, which fits in with the character of the neighborhood. And you don't foresee, any issues that would alarm anyone. And of course, each house would have the new IA septic. And I think it helps achieve the town's goals of increasing affordable housing, because just by virtue of the neighborhood and the size of the lot and the house, it makes it somewhat affordable for residents. Any questions?
Is there public water on Priscilla?
Yes.
There is.
Bob, was there any particular reason why one is 100 foot wide and the other is 83 and change? To make it, could you make it 90-90 or?
Yeah, I don't know why that would be.
No, I think,
Or is there some restriction?
no, I think they're both 50-foot frontage.
Yeah, that's
The other one is a surveying bearing. 83 degrees.
Oh, I see. Gotcha,
Both
gotcha.
50-50.
Sorry, my mistake.
Well, as you just learned from that, I'll tell you anything you want to hear. I'm not going to correct a board member.
Figured it out for you.
All right. Any further questions?
Nope.
Thank you, Mr. Marius. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on 91 Priscilla? Hearing no public comment, entertain a motion to close with the 10-day written comment period.
Motion.
Motion by Glorian.
Second.
Second by Zuccarelli. All in favor, aye. Opposed, abstentions, 7 yes. Jackie, up for reading?
Sure.
Okay. Item 4 on the agenda is 148 Priscilla. Jackie's going to read.
Council, is there proper notice? Please take notice that in accordance with the Town Code of the Town of Southampton, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, February 14th, 2019, at 6 p.m. prevailing time at the Southampton Town Hall at 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, New York, to consider the pre-application entitled 148 Priscilla Avenue. The application is for a two-lot subdivision of a 28.348 square foot parcel currently improved with a single-family residence situated in the R15, R60 zoning districts and the New York State archaeological sensitive area located at 148 Priscilla Avenue in Flanders, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-123-22.3, by order of the Planning Board of the Town of Southampton. Philip Keith, Secretary.
Very good. Mr. Marius, I think you found your niche.
So 148, everything that I said before holds true for this property as well. But I would add a few additional thoughts to this. The existing house, originally on, first off, when I submitted this, for some reason, Marty, who's our architect? Yeah. Had made it so that it was going to be a flag lot. We would prefer to make it in the same conformity as it had previously existed, which is in conformity again with all of the neighboring properties. So we've had those, and I just received them this morning, and I'm going to submit them to planning so that it's more in keeping. Now, originally, maybe this was why, but originally on this here, there had been an in-ground pool, which we had submitted a demolition permit, and had taken that out a year or two ago. And the existing house that's there, of course, we'll go to the ZBA, like on the other parcel. And barring that, it's kind of the same thing. It
For
fits in
side yard
character.
setback, or what are you going to the ZBA for?
Well, I think we're going to need some relief from setbacks.
Side yard setback.
Yep. And also on this particular property, I'm going to need relief of the zoning there is strange along that side of Priscilla in that that's town property that's R60, and it comes onto all those properties somewhat. And the ZBA, I believe, has the power to move that.
So you want to divide it right down the middle the way you did the other?
Yes,
As opposed to what we're seeing on this.
exactly. And I have those.
That would allow us also to establish buffers in the rear, which backs up its pine barrens, backs up to the core pine barrens.
Yeah.
So you'd have the houses up toward the road, and then you could preserve the rear of the property.
I actually brought 10 of these in the new configuration. I could give them to you now, or I could just give them to planning tomorrow.
Planning tomorrow is fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone who wishes to be heard on 148 Priscilla?
Just a second, so the water will be brought in at what point? Because I see you need to bring water in for the lot. There's a well on the lot where the existing house is. And it says water will be well will be abandoned and the residences be connected to public water. At what point are we going to
Probably when they do the
that?
health department approval. That's usually
Well, no,
there.
that's where the house is, so I don't know
So
if that
the-
house is coming down.
When-
The existing house, I'm sorry.
The existing house has a well, there's a hydrant, there's public water directly across the street.
Okay.
Oh, so you'll bring water in.
Yeah,
So that will be done as a condition of, to do the subdivision?
the health department sometimes requires that.
Yeah, it's just that I saw a Sea of Oat house, and I
Oh, yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to make sure that we were
It's probably an older house,
public water in.
Right.
put in years ago. Okay, very good. We'll entertain a motion closed with a 10-day written comment period.
It's there, but it's.
Motion.
Motion by Jackie. Second by Phil. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? 7 yes. Robin, you up for reading?
Yes, sure.
Okay. We're going to move to number 5. Roscoe. Okay. We'll get the notice read.
Thank you, the board. Have a, depending on your relationship status, you'll have an excellent evening or a very sad.
Thank you.
My dogs are
That's so
wonderful.
nasty.
My dogs are wonderful.
Thanks.
Depending upon your relationship status, then.
Okay.
Are we in good order?
Wait, okay, 1 second.
Thank you. Oh, we saw this in the work.
We're good? Okay. Notice of public hearing, please take notice that in accordance with the town code of the town of Southampton, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, February 14th, 2019, at 6 p.m. prevailing time at the Southampton Town Hall at 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, New York, to consider the site plan application entitled Constantine and Maureen Roscoe. Site plan application is for an additional 3,600 square foot warehouse building on a 2-acre parcel improved with existing buildings, 3,500 square foot repair shop for ag use, 12,900 SF warehouse, located in the R20 zoning district at 218 County Road 39, Hamlet of Tuckahoe, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-159-2-2, by order of the Planning Board of the Town of Southampton. Phil Keith, Secretary.
Welcome.
Good evening. My name is John Weiss. I'm here representing the Roscoe family. My partner has been in on the other times. We've gone through and she submitted photographs. The last recommendation was for a cupola to be put on top of the proposed building. That's fine. I believe something should have been submitted by now demonstrating that. The problem, I hate using that word, they wanted shutters on the back of the building. We've submitted pictures demonstrating that is completely blocked off. There's trees as far as the barrier, and the shutters won't serve any architectural or pleasantness to demonstrate for anybody to see. And I believe she mentioned that at the last time she was here, probably at the pre-hearing. And that's it. I mean, you have all the pictures, you have demonstrations as to the location of the proposed building, the pictures of the existing building that's there.
Is this the rear of the building? Or-
That's off of 39. That's not even the building.
This is
No, that's that main building
the big building.
here.
This is the building being demolished. And this is demonstration of the,
Where it is.
well, that's the barrier as far as the, so the, putting any shutters on the back of the building where the windows are really doesn't serve a purpose other than adding to an expense.
Who suggested that, the ARB?
The board or somebody had suggested it as one of the recommendations, and we asked that to be removed. It might have been removed, and I might be bringing up something that I just should have kept my mouth shut on. And like I said, my partner prepared me very, very well. She's young. She lives in West Hampton Beach. She opted for the West Hampton Beach hearing tonight, sent me here from Quorum, and she's home with her family having Valentine's Day.
Oh,
Good.
you want a piece of candy?
No, thank you.
Okay. We had this in
Pretty
the work session.
straightforward, yeah.
Very good. Any further questions for the applicant? Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on Roscoe? Okay, no public comment. I'll entertain a motion to close at the 10-day written comment.
Motion.
Motion by Phil.
Second.
Second by Gloria, and all in favor? Aye, opposed, abstentions?
You can tell her you were brilliant.
Are you leaving it for the right? I think we have these, don't we?
You should, but I don't,
Okay, we'll hang on.
we have a nice printer.
Yeah.
We just keep
Okay.
on.
You can tell her you were brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Safe home.
He's a very bossy partner.
Old Stables at Spionk, item 6. I'll do the reading. We have notice.
No, Mr. Chairman.
You don't have notice.
Just have to check the noticing.
There was only 14 adjacent.
This looks like the same picture.
Okay, please take notice. Yeah. That in accordance with the Town Code of the Town of Southampton, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, February 14, 2019, 6 p.m. prevailing time, Southampton Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, New York, to consider the pre-application entitled Old Stables at Spionk. The pre-application consists of a standard plan with 6 lots and a PRD cluster plan with a total of 9 lots on a 1.750 acre of with 1.750 acres of open space with a total projected area of 304,960 square feet or 7.001 acres, located at 85 North Phillips Lane, Hamlet, Spionk, tax map number 900-353-88 by order of the Planning Board, Town of Southampton. Philip Keith, Secretary. Very good, welcome.
Good evening, happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Sean Barron for the applicant. So, as some of you may recall, this is kind of a revisit. Got to past this point once before, and then my client sort of waffled, I guess. I think somebody else was looking at the property, I'm not sure, but we tried to renew the application, but the board had decided they wanted me to resubmit a pre-application again. So that's where we're at. So this was sort of the layout that everybody kind of agreed to last time, or thought was pretty cool. Nothing's really changed. So we had some archaeological reviews done previously. I think that was all actually submitted previously, too.
Now, the yield is 6 lots, but you're proposing 9?
So with under the PRD, you can get 9. So we'd have to get 3 sanitary credits. Under the town.
Oh, you're bringing in credits.
We'd have to bring in sanitary credits, correct.
And there's workforce housing in here?
Yes.
Okay.
How many
Excuse-
units?
3 would be
Three.
workforce, 3 of the 9.
And how many structures it's hard to see, how many structures are on the,
It's like a dilapidated dwelling and some outbuildings.
so will they be demolished?
Yes.
Starting from scratch?
Yes.
And the rear portion is the,
Will be the open space adjacent to the subdivision that it backs up to. And then a little bit along the roadway, too.
How close is this, just, I'm trying to get a reference point. Where are we from Spionk Commons?
This is on the north side of the railroad tracks by, it says 472 feet. So if you go, in Spionk, if you go right at the light,
Yeah.
past the train station over the tracks, 400 feet on your left. It's woods, mostly woods now. You can barely see the existing structures. Although the house is kind of there, but lot's pretty overgrown. There's the industrial park kind of is across the street, sort of. Well, there's a couple of houses across the street, and there's sort of an industrial park a little bit further down on the east side of North Phillips.
so there's water. And each of these lots is what, about 20,000, 21,000 square feet?
Correct. They're all about 20. One of them is 2971. Not about 20, they are all 20, except for the one. And the Commons, I'm sorry, if you look at the site map, if you can see the intersection of Montauk Highway, the Commons is like a little bit south and east of there. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
So here.
I just wanted,
Yeah.
oh, you want to do this? Yeah.
So this is the site. The Commons would be down over here. Like
Okay.
Brewology is probably right about there.
Okay, that's, all right, now I've got, okay. Now,
Spionk Commons is right to the south of the railroad.
yeah, yeah,
Remember you guys coordinated with the walkway?
yep. That's, I just needed to get my point of reference. Thank you.
Okay. Further questions? Very good, thank you, Mr. Barron. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on Old Stables at Spionk?
Okay.
Okay, please use the podium.
We could ask.
Stored properly. My name is Adam, and this is my first meeting ever.
That's okay, we don't bite.
Not much.
Oh,
First time here also.
welcome.
Welcome.
Too bad it has to be Valentine's Day.
Made it for a cheap
There are
date.
ladies waiting for the,
You got it.
there better be a dinner after this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just
Anyway,
state
my
your-
name's Adam Grimmett. I live at 8 Jesse Road. It's one of the adjoining properties. I guess firstly, I was notified on February 4th. I got the certified letter. So I'm not too familiar with what the exact plan is. but when looking at the plan here now, that open space in the back, the land is not even. So if it's cleared, one issue that I noticed, because my property is down here in the south corner, the runoff from rain, storm, or whatever would kind of direct itself right to my property, because I'm kind of sunk down in that area, the properties kind of go. So noticing just from tonight, looking at the plan now, I feel like that would be a problem, just from my own, basement and property being flooded.
Could you point out your lot, your house again?
Mine's right here in the corner.
Right there, is the last.
So are you
I
getting?
don't like the back end where it says open space, but if that's all cleared, it's going to be great.
No, open
No, the
space
open
means it
space is
stays
not.
wooded, undisturbed.
Yeah, stay wooded. And there would be drainage on the property
Okay.
required.
That would be-
engineered
Open space
drainage.
means,
Okay.
it's a misnomer, it doesn't mean they clear it, it means it remains
Well, it says open space, I don't know, I have to ask these
It's a good
questions.
It means undisturbed, so whatever's there now wouldn't be touched.
It will stay wooded.
The other question I would have would be the time frame for construction and like what's going to be put there. They have another housing development going up on the south side of the train track, so probably about 500 to 700 feet south of
Yep.
this subdivision, where they're already doing construction, morning till evening. So you have that noise issue, which obviously they have permits, I'm not complaining that way, but if you have two projects now going on both sides of the development and neither one are finished or being filled for that point, I would imagine that would also create a little havoc for me and the other neighbors that are adjoining.
There's no way of telling, the town has no control once the lots are created. Sometimes the project are approved and they'll sit 10 years.
I got you. Well, yeah, I kind of figured it was something like that.
Or sometimes they'll put the road in and they'll sell the lots and some people might build right away, other people might sit on the lots for investment.
And is
So-
there any way to look into, again, I only got it 10 days ago, I'm not trying to be like a pain in the butt, really, this is new to me.
Happy.
But I'd like to find out like more about what's being put up there and how that is going to affect
have no
myself.
control.
There's no way of knowing, like it's
No way
9
of
lots,
knowing.
it's residential, or it could be any.
Well, it has to be
Family.
residential.
There's single-family homes, it's
Family
not.
homes, the minimum square footage has to be 900 square feet, according to the
Okay.
town code. The plans have to go in front of the architectural review board, so you can't
It
just.
takes a while.
Okay, so, but there's single-family homes, it's
Yes.
not like the other project.
No,
No,
that's an affordable
Again, that's-
workforce housing project.
Did you have other questions? I don't want to take it, I'll write everything down while they're talking.
Just come up, state your name for the record, please.
My name's Tom Barghorn.
Tom.
I just moved into Eastport last year. We moved in from western Nassau County, my wife and I, and we love the open spaces out here. And now when we got hit with this little ordinance now, we like looking at the animals walking through our property, the deer, turkeys and everything. Now what I'm going to see is, as you said, who knows when they're going to build. But I don't like the idea of seeing this.
Where is
Can you
it?
tell us
Could
where
show
you
us
are?
I am the next
Yeah.
property next to Adam.
Okay.
So you're on Jesse Drive as well.
Yes.
He's one of the first people that liked the.
Well, at least the back end is meant to stay in woods as the open space.
Yeah, so.
Well, that's the back end, but I'm not near the back end.
Okay, so you're on
They're
the other,
going to be building
what?
on the back side of some of my property.
Okay.
So I'm going to be looking out my back window and see a
Houses.
building, woods. And that's why I came out here, not for that. I came out here to see woods, see animals and stuff like that. And that's going to turn me sour with that. And I don't know if my wife wants to say anything.
I just wanted to say, that's why you want the house.
Yes.
You'd have to, yeah. But you knew the property behind you was privately held residential.
No, I didn't. We did not know
No, it
that.
was, someone told you it was preserved land?
No, they didn't tell us anything. We didn't realize that. What they,
Just,
what
please,
my real estate said,
State your name for the record and.
oh,
just-
I'm sorry,
yeah,
Susan Bergholm.
It's just, it's for the, so the recording equipment can
Yeah,
hear you.
Oh,
and
I'm
just
sorry.
move the mic down.
Just move the mic down a little
Because
bit.
you're little.
Susan Berghorn,
Yeah, that's
my husband. The one reason we went into that development and bought the property that we did was for the woods behind it. Because a lot of, we're in, I don't know if you've heard of it, Longtree Pond in Eastport, we're in that development. A lot of the areas that aren't developed within that development will never be. We didn't realize the park behind us was not part of it. We were not told that. And that was one of the main reasons we bought the house. We came from Nassau, where we had neighbors here, there, and everywhere. We came out here because we wanted the woods. We wanted to see the animals. And we've had deer walk through our yard. We've had turkeys. We've had birds that we never even knew existed could fly out of those woods. I mean, we're seeing for sale signs on all the properties around us now. And it's like, we're here 1 year.
And we were
It was 1
wondering
year in
why,
January.
and all of a sudden, we got the letter in the mail.
Yeah.
Bingo.
And
And they
I-
can develop that as of right, and that's these large parcels are just,
Not like they're getting any special variances or anything. I mean, they have.
I know
It
it's-
impacts you.
Town maintained.
What?
Would the roadway be?
Will be town, it'll be a town road, yes.
how much of a buffer are they leaving us?
I think it depends upon where your house is in relation to the property.
Well, I know
Hard for
the
us to
rear
say.
yard setback for primary structures is 60 foot for structures, so they can't go further, closer than 60 foot from your rear property line. Their rear property line.
I don't know if there's a restriction on clearing. Is there a restriction on clearing?
No, typically we put a.
What is your name? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to look.
Susan Berghorn?
It shows a
doesn't
different name on
Yeah,
it.
it shows Peter Price. It shows-
Thomas Tellez, it's a.
Thomas
Oh, God,
Tellez.
they were the original owners.
Thomas
We are
Tellez.
now the third owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
the original owners?
The original owners are Tellez or something.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah,
so it's the
I'm
middle.
We're the
middle
third owners of that
property.
property now.
Yeah.
We've got that name on this map, so.
Yeah.
Now, my wife brought in some article that we saw on the computer this afternoon, and I think this process was being started in 2015,
Yeah.
and nobody, I think the second owners must have seen that and put their house up for sale right away,
Yeah.
because they were only there for 3 years,
And you bought it.
and then we bought it.
Yeah.
Nobody told us anything.
We
that-
sunk $70,000 into this house in 1 year that we're in there already.
Yeah.
We're never going to get it back if we have to sell.
Well, don't
It's-
say that. But
You know,
you can speak to the attorney, back there if you want. Are you the owner? Oh, you're not an attorney.
we just wanted to let you know how we
Yeah,
felt.
Yep.
of course. I'm
We're a
sorry.
small group. It's a very quiet area. Another reason we came out here. And now we feel like we're losing it all.
Yes.
So,
I know years ago, there was the development closer to the railroad tracks that was supposed to connect with Jesse Drive. Believe that. In other words, Jesse Drive
Yes.
is going to be connected to North Phillips.
North Phillips.
And we had about 40, 50 people in this room shaking their fists, and it ended up not going.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they changed the front entrance as a result of that.
Yeah, yeah. I was here for that one. Ooh.
Well,
50 people
it's
here.
two animals, because not only do you lose the animals, but the animals lose their habitat.
Yeah, and that's what's happening, and where are they going to go? I mean,
Remember that? But you were here for that. It's Jesse Drive.
They were all, are you talking about the other neighbor?
Can you come to the mic?
You have to
Yeah,
speak,
if you can
speak
come up
into
to the
the
mic, only because they can't
They
record.
developed the other property. That was north of us.
No, but there was,
Open space, you mean?
that has nothing to do with it.
no, I'm just saying right now, we don't see any deer now. We were wondering why. And the turkeys. Down by us, there is a development, not a, but it's a garages that do servicing cars and everything.
Yeah.
And we found out that they
cleared it.
They cleared the whole area to the next development, our development, but further on. And there's no way for those animals to get through now.
They weren't supposed to clear it.
Right.
Here's an aerial of your property. Why don't you take that? That's the field you look at.
Yes.
Well, if you think the area
It
was,
looks like it comes right up to where our
Property
property
line.
ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's extremely close to our property.
I just drew that line for the back piece where the open
Yes.
space will be.
Do we have an aerial, John?
Yes.
See, this is our house.
Dennis, can you stay there for a second? Sure.
You're here. Yeah. You can keep
This little
that.
dot here is a children's playset for our grandchildren. That's how close it is.
Sure. Well, we can put buffers, we can indicate buffers, but they're small lots, so. There's 20,000, average 20,000 square
Want this
feet.
back?
Oh, you keep it.
Thank you.
Yes, that's their house.
Well, thank you for listening anyway.
You're welcome. Thank you for your comments. We're going to close the public hearing then with a 10-day written comment period. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Gloria, second by Phil. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? 7 yes. Motion to adjourn by Blaney, second by Jackie. We are adjourned.